say you will make the bones crackle, one piece at a time, under guidance of Mr. Fuji.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination.
What's going on, gang? This is Nick Nightmare. This is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show podcast. Not going to do the usual greeting, because we had 2 very sad stories come at us this weekend, as you could probably tell from the introduction. We lost the legend, Mr. Fuji, one of the greatest managers ever, the devious one himself. There was almost nobody better at doing what he did. He was such an antagonist. He was a cheat-to-win manager. Managed some of the greatest tag teams ever, most notably, probably Demolition. Probably his greatest tag team. Also the Powers of Pain, which was the Warlord and the Barbarian. Mr. Fuji was all over the place in the 80s and 90s. He was one of the greatest entertainers that the WWE had. He was very funny in skits. I'm sure you've seen them on Raw. They keep highlighting, which is actually a low light of his career, even though he did confess to enjoying them very much. All those skits with Don Morocco and the Fuji Vice and Fuji General and all these ridiculous things that they did with him. But that was very 80s of them, and it was a sign of the times. It's what they did back then, but nobody at all will ever forget Mr. Fuji. He's probably most known to current audiences as the manager of the legendary Yokozuna, the Samoan monster, who was billed to be a Japanese sumo wrestler. Also, one of the members of the famous Anoa'i clan of Samoan wrestlers, the Dynasty, which includes all of our favorites, Roman Reigns and the Usos and The Rock. But yeah, Mr. Fuji will be missed very much. Is very sad. And followed that with the announcement of the death of Gene Wilder. I know he has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling, but this man is an icon of entertainment. His turn as Leo Bloom in the original producers is epic. Nobody could have ever played it better. Matthew Broderick did a great job in the remake, but Gene Wilder, of course, is the original. You can't get any better. Young Frankenstein. Who doesn't love Young Frankenstein? That movie goes down as one of the greatest comedies ever made. Mel Brooks, genius director and writer. Fantastic movie. Made even better by the presence of Gene Wilder as Dr. Frankenstein. And no one will ever forget Gene Wilder as the original Willy Wonka. Not that Johnny Depp nonsense. I'm a big Depp fan. Anybody that knows me knows I love Johnny Depp. But that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was horrible. The original Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder, cannot be beat. Still referenced to this day in pop culture. Family Guy, most notably, used it recently in a lot of their episodes. It's a sad and terrible loss, and I slowly feel day by day, as we get older, we deal with loss personally, in our personal lives, and in entertainment and the people that we enjoy. And, it just feels like little pieces of my childhood slowly are fading away. And it's just rough. It's a sad thing to go through. But that's enough of the down stuff. And we are going to get into last night's Monday Night Raw, which had its ups and it had its downs, but the ups were way up there. We're going to go right into the card. We started out with a segment with all 4 competitors in the Fatal 4-Way elimination match for the Universal Championship. In the ring, everybody was on their game. Roman didn't say too much, which is probably better for him, but he was getting booed out of the building anyway. They showed him on the camera. They booed the poor guy. I mean, he can't get a break no matter what. I thought they'd be a little more receptive in Houston, being that they were all big fans of the Samoans out there, but that was not the case. He was definitely not the crowd favorite, as it is going no matter where they go. Kevin Owens was on fire on the mic. He was the most entertaining guy out there for sure. Very surprised by Big Cass. I didn't think he had much charisma without Enzo, but he held his own out there, and he definitely got a few digs in at Kevin Owens. Very, very funny. Seth Rollins showed me absolutely no signs of turning into a good guy with the way he went about this particular interview segment, and he was very condescending and very negative towards everybody else, telling them that, they should all be thankful pretty much to me because I made this happen. I'm the reason why we're all here. It was a great segment and went off as everybody probably knew it would. Big, rumble at the end. No surprise there. But great opening segment to start the show. Corey Graves was a very good moderator. I enjoy Graves on the announce table and anywhere they put him. I think he's a great addition to the company, to the roster, to the announce team, whatever you want to say. Had the first match of the night. Chris Jericho versus Neville. This match was great. Chris Jericho is amazing. He's always been amazing. He's always been one of my all-time favorites. People complain because he's an older guy and he's getting the win, but he's helping establish these guys. Neville needs to earn the win. Losing to Chris Jericho is not a bad thing. He's Chris Jericho. He's the first ever undisputed champion. He's got such a history and legacy behind him. 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Come on. It only makes sense, almost, for Neville to lose to Jericho. He's a seasoned veteran. He's gonna know how to fight a guy like Neville. He's battled Rey Mysterio. He's battled anybody you could think of. And Chris Jericho's in the ring, and he's giving these guys lessons in wrestling. And that match was fantastic. A back and forth between the two. A great finish at the end, where you almost didn't know who was going to win. You almost really thought Neville was going to pull it off. And then he went up for that Hurricane Rana, and then Jericho breaks it into the Lion Tamer. Not the Walls of Jericho, the Lion Tamer. And Neville forced to tap out, and Chris Jericho gets the win. It was a great match. I've seen a lot of people online complaining, they're squashing the new talent. No, they're building them. This is probably not going to be the last time we see him in Jericho. We've seen him fight Chris Jericho. If you have the network, at the Beast from the East special, where they had Brock Lesnar fighting in Japan, probably 8 months back or so, maybe even a year or more ago. Great match. Jericho wins. Moving along the card, now comes something I'm going to be a little down on, which is I love me some Nia Jax. She's one of my favorite new talents in the women's division, and with everything that's going on, I think they're afraid to put her in with the other girls because it would be stupid to have her lose and not be the champion. She's got to be this dominating force. She's got to be this diva that's not like most girls that we've never seen before. But it's not working when you put her up against some girl whose name is Ion, but they're calling her Hyon or Heon or whatever they decided to say. Clearly said Ion to me, but they called her something else. And then she proceeded to give some kind of giggly, stupid, airbrained statement, and then, Nia comes out, and 1, 2, 3, squash. It was like a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes tops. That's not how you're supposed to highlight Nia Jax. We're going to come back to this a little later, because this is not the last time they did this in this one show. And it's the same complaint for the 2 separate matches, so we'll come a little bit back to that. I'll reference it later. But Nia Jax gets the real quick squash win over Little Miss Nobody. Then we had a segment, Gallows and Anderson Retirement Home, which I was thoroughly enjoying. I think they're very funny like this until they brought in Dana Brooke, who is an eyesore for me. She just destroys any possibility of me enjoying what's happening on the screen. If Dana Brooke is on the screen, I'm physically ill, and I feel like I want to vomit. Between her plastic face and her dumpy body and her stupid voice that she never shuts up, and she keeps yelling in the ring when she wrestles, she's just very annoying. This is not the first, nor will it be the last time you hear complaints about Dana Brooke on this show. But she definitely you know, whatever. She came in, she put the rubber glove on. Who cares? Who cares? Let's move on. The match is booked later. The six-man mixed tag. The New Day and Bayley going to go against Gallows, Anderson, and Dana Botch just a little bit later on in the card. They followed this with an unnecessary match for Sami Zayn against a returning Jinder Mahal, whose job is obviously going to be to come in here and lose to anybody who matters. Sami Zayn, the whole entire match, was, you know, keeping up with his leg injury from his match the other night. And didn't seem to bother him enough to stop him from dealing one hell of a haluva kick, which is how you know it's wrestling. And Sami Zayn gets the quick win. I think it was like a 5-minute match. You got to highlight Sami Zayn a little better than this, you guys. He should be going in there with almost literally anybody else that has even just an ounce more talent, and you would have gotten a lot better match out of both Sami and whoever the other opponent is. I'm just not digging Jinder Mahal. He seems to be like a solid talent in the ring. I just don't get it. I hate these generic superstars that have no no story to them, no nothing. I don't care. Okay, your name is Jinder Mahal and you wear red trunks and you're from somewhere in the Middle East, and I'm supposed to care why. Am I supposed to hate you? Am I supposed to want to like you? Because they're not giving us any reason to do either with Jinder Mahal. Just another wasted mid-card enhancement talent, only there to put over whoever the WWE deems worthy of getting pushes. Unnecessary match. Not a bad match, but unnecessary. Sami Zayn got the win. Surprise, surprise. Then we had the New Day and Bayley taking on, as I said, Gallows, Anderson, and Dana Brooke. Which, as this match was coming out, you know, I have faith in Bayley and the guys to put it on, but as I previously stated, I have no faith in Dana Brooke to do what needs to be done, but I will give credit when it is due, and the match was very, very well done. It was very good, it was very entertaining, a lot of funny spots, you know, the little dance spot right before commercial, which is another thing. We'll get into the use of the commercials in this show, which was agitating beyond all belief, because I don't understand why you schedule your commercial breaks the way you do, WWE. It doesn't make sense. It takes the flow away from the whole show. It's just not working for me. Just a minor complaint, but, you know, moving on, back to the match. It was a great match, some great action between the guys and the girls. And in the end, Bayley gets the pin on Dana Brooke. I think they're doing this intentionally to keep giving Bayley some momentum so that people will really start to believe that she has a shot against Charlotte. I don't think that Bayley's going to get any shot at the title. I mean, she'll get a shot at the title, but she's probably not going to win. I believe fully in my heart that Sasha Banks, upon her return, will resume into this program with the two of them, and it'll be the three of them fighting around to see who gets what shot and blah blah. But Sasha Banks will win the title back from Charlotte sometime this year, if not by the Royal Rumble, which is going to set up Sasha Banks versus Bayley at this year's WrestleMania. That's just almost the most logical way to do it. I believe those girls are deserving of that spot. You give them at least a half an hour to go out there and kill it the way you know that they can. It'll be special, and that's when Bayley should win. Bayley should win her first ever championship at WrestleMania. She's deserving of an honor such as that, and to go down in the history books, put her name down there that Bayley won the title at WrestleMania for the first time in 2017, or however you want to spin it. That's just my belief of what they are actually going to do with this women's division. But Bayley gets the pin on Dana Brooke, and the New Day and Bayley win the match. After that, we get match number 2 from Cesaro and Sheamus, which, again, not expecting much. I lowered my expectations, and they actually exceeded my expectations for match number 2. Sheamus got the win after he did this sick backflip bump on the outside, where he flipped Cesaro up over his head and he landed on his lower back on the hardest part of the ring, the edge, right outside the ropes and into the corner steel post also with his legs. It looked like it hurt, and he acted like it hurt, and Sheamus would go on to get the win and go up 2-0 in this best of 7 series. I fully see Sheamus even winning the next one, and then them having Cesaro come back 3 in a row, have that drama with every match. After this next match, if Sheamus wins, every single match is an elimination match for Cesaro, and I think he's going to drag it on. We're definitely going to get 7. There would be no point in giving us a 7-match series between the two men if you were not actually going to go 7 matches, unless it really just starts to become a stinker and they decide to call it at 5. I mean, it gives them leeway to do whatever they want to do, but that's my thought on the matter. It's going 7. Cesaro may even come out on top. I believe I heard something somewhere about this best of 7 is going to end up being for a chance to challenge the Universal Championship, so who knows? I would have much rather it be a loser leave town and let one of these guys go over to SmackDown and help out that roster, but that's another story for another day. So Sheamus goes over, gets the win in that match, goes up 2-0 in the best of 7 over Cesaro. Okay, then we have this jerk-off in the ring who looks like a walking firework, and he's like a cross between Rey Mysterio and Max Moon, if you know who Max Moon is. For you youngsters, look him up. Like an American Predator, but he's like 4 feet tall, and his name is Americo, and he looks ridiculous, and you already know what's coming when you see him in the ring, and sure enough, he's Braun Strowman's opponent for tonight. This is what I was talking about, going back to Nia Jax. We're going to apply everything that I say now for the Braun Americo match, apply the same logic and theory to what we were talking about before with Nia Jax and Ion. These matches are useless. They're terrible. They don't make sense. I never liked this. I'm not impressed by this. I'm not impressed when you show me an 800-pound gorilla fighting a mouse in the ring. There's nothing impressive about that. You're doing the same thing to Nia Jax. You're doing the same thing with Braun Strowman. Now you're doing the exact same angle, the exact same way, on the same show in the same night. Just one's a girl and one's a guy. That's the only difference. Either way, it's not going to work. Enough is enough. These performers, respectively, Nia Jax and Braun, are supposed to be great wrestlers. It has been touted by people backstage and people that know them from coming up. And we've seen Nia Jax. If you watch NXT, you know how talented she is and how much of a great performer she is in the ring. And Braun Strowman is supposed to have this too. It's being said that he's one of the best big men that you will ever see wrestle, but we wouldn't know that, would we? Because we keep seeing him come out here and flatten guys like a pancake with his hands, and he's throwing people around like they weigh a half a pound, and he looks like he's flipping a pizza. And it's just not doing it. It's not impressive. I don't see any of that and go, oh wow, he's cool. No, I want to see him fight somebody worth a damn. Then you tell me he's cool. And yeah, okay, you can say, oh well, they're building it up. They're building it up, and you know they're holding off his first opponent. They're building the anticipation. No. With a person like Braun Strowman, who came from the Wyatt family, that's my other. Is he still a Wyatt? Is he not a Wyatt? Why is he still dressed the same? What, he just got a haircut, so now he's not a Wyatt? He's not brainwashed by Bray anymore? I don't get it. You need to do a better job of explaining. Oh no, well the brand split happened and now he's fine. Come on, give me a little something better than that. This guy needs more. I need to see more, because all I'm seeing is him yelling in the ring, which is stupid, and tossing around some little jerk. Who cares? Next. Braun Strowman wins in like 47 seconds. Who cares? Next, please. Next was a nice little interview segment with Stephanie McMahon and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is now and will always be one of my favorite guys on the mic. Goes in there again, does his best job to agitate Stephanie McMahon without actually agitating her. He was very nice, very respectful, until he started throwing $1 bills at her like she worked at Hooters or something. And, the whole segment was good, pretty much. We wrap it up by him saying, you made a smart decision by finding us only $500, and that Brock Lesnar is my beast, and any kind of repercussions you want to throw my way, throw them, because Brock is my reply to you. So, Stephanie didn't take too kindly to it, but she gave him his apology, and she walked out begrudgingly, and Paul Heyman smirked right into the camera, knowing that he just got another one over on Stephanie McMahon. And it was very funny. I love Paul. The whole segment was very good. It was a little long. I mean, they probably could have wrapped it up a little quicker, but aside from the length, it was pretty important, because the bottom line is, Paulie's here to tell us that Brock's not done, and that there will be more carnage, there will be more destruction, there will be more trips to Suplex City, there will be more Brock Lesnar, no matter what he did to Randy Orton, no matter what he did to Shane McMahon. I'm the best thing you got going. I generate money, I generate buzz, I have the beast, Brock Lesnar, and you will do nothing. You're going to take my $500 $1 bills that I have wrapped up all nice here for you, and you're going to like it, and we're going to call it a day. And that's what happened. It was a great little segment. After that, I went to the bathroom, because Titus O'Neil was fighting Darren Young again. What a waste of time this was. I barely watched the match. I phased out. I checked in on Twitter. I'm seeing what people are saying, trying to start writing the show, because I just was not interested at all. I couldn't even tell you what happened, because I don't care. I'm pretty sure, from what I thought I heard in the background, I think Darren Young won, and then Titus probably got pissed off and beat everybody up. Because I turned around and I see Darren Young and Bob Backlund on the floor. Titus O'Neil walking back up the ramp, talking about Darren Young owes him something. I don't know. I don't care. I hope they wrap it up real quick, because it's just not interesting to me. So then we get what we've all been waiting for the whole entire night, the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship. And this match was fantastic. It was full of near falls and over-the-top rope moves, through the rope moves, lots of high spots, lots of back and forth, lots of counter maneuvers, lots of impact power moves. Kevin Owens was throwing himself into everybody. You know what? I didn't realize this was an elimination match until tonight's Raw. Like, I don't remember them saying it last week. I have to go back and watch. I thought it was just a standard Fatal 4-Way. So when they made it an elimination match, I kind of reshuffled my deck, so to speak, and I knew pretty much the order of what was going to happen, but I wasn't, as much as I knew it was going to happen, I almost wasn't expecting it. I was expecting them to ruin it somehow. But one by one, they all went down, and in the end, Kevin Owens is our new Universal Champion. But even though that's huge, that's not the big part of the story. The big part of the story is my man Triple H, the man, comes out from the crowd to go into the ring. He takes out Roman Reigns, and then he goes in there, and you all assume, even I assume, for a moment, that he's here to help Stephanie help Seth Rollins win. But that obviously was not the case, as he turned and fired up a pedigree right into Seth Rollins' head, buried him into the mat, told Owens to get the cover. Kevin Owens gets the cover. Triple H seemed ecstatic that this happened, and then he goes out of the ring, walks past Foley, who tries to confront him, but Triple H gets right in his face, and it just becomes a stare down. And then he goes off to walk past his wife and gives her the daggers, man. He looked at her with ice in his veins, and I am so excited to see where this is going. They, in one fell swoop, by having Triple H do that, they have essentially given us a reason to wish today was Monday already. And I have not felt like that in a very long time. I can't wait for Monday. I cannot wait to see what Seth Rollins is going to have to say to Triple H. What is Triple H? What is his explanation for this whole thing going to be? Why is he going against his wife? What is going on? What the hell just happened? That is how you write story. That is how you do things correctly. That is all we want. We don't need every single show to be, from beginning to end, 100% all the time, everything amazing. Because that would be even unrealistic to expect from them. But this, as a wrestling fan, this is what you look for. This is why we watch. We watch for that. And even though some of us kind of felt it, and you never truly know until they pull the trigger. And when they counted 3 for Kevin Owens, regardless what the reason was, whether it was because Triple H screwed him or whether he wanted clean, it didn't matter. I raised up out of my seat at home, put my hands in the air, and felt almost a relief, like an anchor of weight off of my shoulders, because I almost expected them to disappoint me, and I was building up all this rage already because I had no earthly idea that they were even on the same page as me with this one, and I thought they were going to go, because they had 4 options. You had your safe option, which was Seth Rollins. You had the wrong option, which was Roman Reigns. There would be no way to justify it other than you did it just to stick it to us because you couldn't think of something else creatively. Then you had the shock win value, which would have come from Big Cass. If he would have won, nobody at all would have expected it. And then you had your logical choice. The logical choice being the man that has worked the hardest to get here. A man that hasn't been sidelined by injuries. A man that's been around in the industry for almost 13 years and has paid his dues, has been an independent guy. He's almost like an evil Daniel Bryan. He's not the body type that they're looking for. He's not overly handsome. He's not chiseled out of granite like a Randy Orton or a Batista. He's not a marketable Hollywood face like that. He is a man's wrestler, if you understand what that means. He's a real wrestler. He could be your neighbor. He could be that guy that you see on Sunday mowing his lawn with a beer in his hand, saying, "Oh, hey, what's up, Kev?" And he'll look at you and just be like, "What's up?" He's that guy. But he's there in pro wrestling, and you can relate to him because you feel like you know him. You feel like he could be your buddy. Some of you might think, "Oh, he reminds me of my brother." He's a real guy. We know he's Kevin Owens. He's got a family. He's got a son. He's got a wife. That's all he's here for, is to try to provide for his family, and that's why he wants to win gold, because he's a prize fighter. I fight to win money to provide for my family. A clear-cut story that anybody can get behind. And if the crowd there in Houston is any indication of the rest of the universe, this was the best possible thing they could have done. Adding in the Triple H twist, as I would like to call it, at the end only solidified it even more. You made a tremendous thing happen. Everybody's looking forward to Monday now. Everybody wants to know everybody's story, what the hell happened, and on top of all that, we want to hear what Kevin Owens has to say as the Universal Champion, and we want to know who he's going to fight, and I would not be surprised at all if what I suggested in the Nightmare Room show from over the weekend, if you didn't watch that, go check it out on YouTube only exclusive. Seth Rollins, due to getting hit, is going to now be good. I mean, he's going to go after Triple H. He's going to go after the Authority. He's going to be pissed, but he's going to come off as a hero because he was screwed over. And now we get to cheer for Seth Rollins at the same time as we get to enjoy Kevin Owens' first championship run on the main roster with the main title. He was a fantastic Intercontinental Champion. Former NXT Champion. This was the logical next step. And for them to go with logic and not just safe picking and going back to Seth, or giving it to Roman, or trying something really outside the box with Cass, which even though, people would have popped, but I don't think it would have went over well in the long run. This is what had to be done. This is what they did. Thank the Lord that they did it. Thank you, Triple H, for doing this, because you single-handedly, with your actions, made Kevin Owens a mega star. He was already almost there. He was walking the line, and all he needed to do was take one nice more big step, and this was that step. Kevin Owens, main event superstar, Universal Champion. Still getting used to saying it. Still hate it. Wish I was able to say he was the World Heavyweight Champion. But Kevin Owens, well deserved. So looking forward to the rest of this week too. We got tonight. We got SmackDown going on. Daniel Bryan's going to confront The Miz about last week. That should be pretty hot. That should be interesting. We're going to see the whole AJ Dean Dolph thing is going to play out. And then in the middle, hopefully they give us some good stuff. But those are the two things I'm most looking forward to seeing tonight on SmackDown. So, thank you everybody once again for joining us on our little Raw review show every week here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show podcast. Please hit that like button. Go to YouTube. Watch the shows there. Make sure you hit like. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also, if you want to support us in any way, you can go over to patreon.com/Sledgehammer Wrestling Show and look for updates there about possible rewards and reasons for maybe giving up some of your dough and donating over here so we can make this show better for you. And got a t-shirt in the works. I got some stickers and exclusive shows, access, things like that. I'm working all that shit out. I'll get that to you as it comes along, So thank you so much for joining me here again today. Please come back again tomorrow. Check out the SmackDown review. We're going to have Wednesday. We also have our NXT CWC shows coming up. Getting down to the nitty-gritty there in the CWC. Starting the Elite 8. It's going to be intense, man. I'm Nick Nightmare. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show podcast. Enjoy SmackDown tonight, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow.